In my background, like there's a couple of motifs that talk about people who use deception and lies to kind of sneak around and get what they want. Snakes in the grass, like, yo, be careful. There's snakes out here. There's like a Kendrick song about this. So when I saw it in the scriptures, literally on page 3, right? You see this snake creature come up and I'm like, yo, where did this creature come? And why is it talking? Okay, clearly this isn't just some regular, you know what I'm saying? Like clearly, I'm just always imagining some, like, right? Is always just yapping. The snake creature uses deception to cause humans to eat of the forbidden fruit that will ultimately lead them to death. So I'm convinced that this spiritual being's goal is to literally lead people to death and destruction and chaos, to reverse what God was doing in creation by bringing order to chaos, and says, no. I'm gonna bring disorder to order. I'm gonna bring chaos to order. I think about the snake creature, and we have the whole thing that humans eat from the tree, and then God has to step on the scene. He says, all right, these are the consequences that are gonna unfold now because of what happened. My reading is not God coming down with the hammer like, oh, yeah, I'm after y'all now. I actually think this is a father who's grieved over what is taking place. You're watching your kids die now. They began to die after they eat the fruit, not because the power is in the fruit itself, but something happened when you choose to go away from the source of life, who is God, is leading you in the opposite direction, which is toward death. I think it's a grieving father who's looking at his kids like, no, I gotta do something about this, to bring them back to wholeness, to bring them back to life and eternal life. The snake's using deception to cause death, but God says, no. There's gonna come a descendant from the woman who's going to destroy you. But simultaneously, the snake's gonna injure this descendant by biting its heel. He's gonna grab its heel, he's gonna crush you. And so we have this anticipation throughout the rest of the scriptures. Who's gonna be the descendant of the woman who's gonna crush the serpent's head? And then we get Jesus who steps on the scene down the line. And Jesus is interacting with this snake figure. There's multiple times that Jesus encounters this being, both at the front end of his ministry in the wilderness, which is the opposite setting of a garden. And then we could look at the Garden of Gethsemane. You can imagine there's a temptation there to not go through with the plan. And he's being tested in a garden. Where have we seen this before? But he goes through with the plan, and he not only obeys the instructions of God, he becomes the new tree of life. And he also is in the middle of 2 other trees around him. And he starts bleeding and he starts gushing out water from his side. There's a new river he is the new Eden. So not only is he the one who is crushing the snake, but he's also embodying the very life that God wanted for humans in the first place. You are my branches, you will bear fruit. I am the true vine. What image is that except for a new tree of life? A vine is a tree. And he's saying, not only am I the tree of life, you get to become a part of that if you abide in me. You follow my ways, you will bear fruit. Fruit that leads to eternal life. And not only that, I'm not done finishing the job. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna destroy the snake once and for all. Yeah, he may have bit my heel, so to speak, when I was on the cross, but I literally stomped on his head when I rose from the grave, when I ascended, and when I'm coming back. It's a continual long stomp that's still going down. But Christ is the snake crusher, and we are invited to participate in being snake crushers as we speak. So when I hear you believing lies and I tell you the truth, I'm participating in crushing the snake's head. When I hear somebody say something that's wrong about you and you start to internalize that, I say, no, that's not who you are. God says this about you. That's me crushing the snake's head. That's you crushing the snake's head. It's me trying to bear the fruit. The epistle of 1 John, one of my favorite in the New Testament, the author literally writes, the reason the Son of God appeared was to destroy the devil's work. Everything from his conception to his ascension and seating at the right hand of God, all of this participates in destroying the devil's work. And he's saying, come join that. This is what I'm inviting you into. When you follow my way of life, it will inevitably lead to you crushing the snake. Yes, you do so through hospitality. You do so through generosity. You do so through peacemaking. You do so through truth-telling. You do so through proclaiming my kingdom and showing what that is like in those ways I just named, right? This is how we crush the snake. Yes, there are, moments of deliverance and prayer that we need to do to help liberate people from some spiritual stuff going on. And that is crushing the snake's head. But it's also simple things like me looking in a brother or sister's eyes and saying, yo, I love you. That's participating in destroying the devil's work. The devil is after chaos, death, destruction, stealing of joy, robbing people of their sense of true identity. That's what he's after. And I'm like, nah, we're not having that. Even more to me though, Christ is like, nah, we doing away with that.